Yeah. I've literally just got a note here that says, Tobias, stop being an arse and trust her challenge. Because he's bad at it! Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a review on The Saviour's Champion by Jenna Moreci. Now, before I start, I just want to say that I love Jenna Moreci's channel. I love all her writing tips, her experience, when she talks about experiences with publishing. It's all been very helpful to me. I just want to get that out there before I review this book, because this is an indictment of her. I also want to say I was judging between giving this book 2 and 3 stars, and I ultimately have given it 3 out of 5, but I have a lot of flaws. I only gave it that extra star just because I did end up genuinely interested in the story and where it was going, and if I want to read the sequel, that makes me give it a 3, which I know seems like a low bar, but it's okay. Alright, I'm going to read to you the synopsis and then I'll talk through my thoughts. Today you'll face an option. Either be good and die, or be dark and live. You're a good man, but you will choose the darkness. Tobias Kaya doesn't care about the Saviour. He doesn't care that she's the ruler of the realm, or that she's purified the land, and he certainly doesn't care that she's of age to be married. But when competing for her hand proves to be his last chance to save his family, he's forced to make the Saviour his priority. Now Tobias is thrown into the Sovereign's tournament with 19 other men, and each of them is fighting, and killing, for the chance to rule the Saviour's side. Instantly his world is plagued with violence, treachery, and manipulation, revealing the hidden ugliness of his proud realm, and when his circumstances seem especially dire, he stumbles into an unexpected romance, one that opens him to unimaginable dangers and darkness. Okay, the way I'm going to be structuring my reviews from now on is I'm going to talk through my pros and then my cons. So now I'm going to get into the pros I have of this book. Kaleo, I think is how you say his name. He was like I think a secondary villain in this, and I loved him as a character. I'm not like, oh, he's a great person. No, I loved him as a character. He was interesting. He was riveting. He made me question why, and I like that. My favorite characters are the ones that I need to question their motives. I'm like, are you just batshit? And that's why I liked him. Also, I'm a sucker for a funny character who is terrible and almost batshit insane, so he was perfect for me. I liked Flynn also as a character. He was not perfect. That's why I liked him. He was a dick. He knew what he wanted. He was very determined. He knew he wanted the Saviour, and he fought to all hell for that. And he was funny too. He was charismatic. He was an asshole. He was complicated, and I like that. The romance in this book. I stand by the fact this book would have been much better if it was just a romance and not a fantasy romance. Jenna Moreci knows how to write a romance. Like, the way they meet and their banter and the way they interact is so good. I like it. And I think Tobias is only interesting when he is in this romance with Layla. Like, that is the only interesting part of this. I did like Layla, mainly because she wasn't afraid to kill a man. That seems to be the bar for me. But there were times when I'm like, is she seen as strong just because she can fight? But, you know what, we can move past that. She wasn't afraid to kill someone. She was a straight up bitch. And I love that. That is what I like in a character. About halfway through this novel, I did overlook a bunch of other things and start getting interested in what was happening. So now I'm actually interested in reading the sequel. So it got interesting. It takes a minute, but you do start caring about what's happening, which seems like a low bar, but it's a bar all the same. So some of the banter between Tobias and Layla, Tobias and Delphi, and some of the others is like, it really flows well. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it sounds good. It makes me laugh, and that's all I really care about. Delphi, mwah, my lesbian queen. I love her so much. She does not give a straight up fuck. She will tell Tobias to his face, what's up. I love that about her. I also love how much of a sister she is to Layla, because I love female best friends. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I love female best friends. Now, into my cons. Oh boy. So, I watched Daniel Green's video on this because I love Daniel Green. And he did mention the locker room talk. And I see what he means. It is not good. The thing is, I'm not entirely sure if this is how men actually speak, though my brother says no, and I asked him. But it just doesn't flow. It just doesn't sound good. And it makes sense if it sounded alright, but it doesn't flow. It doesn't sound natural, okay? So let me speak. Let me speak. Let me read some of it. Okay. We deserve more than a glance. We deserve a good fuck for just being here. The Adonis chuckled. Oh, you're foul. At least a firm grip of her tits. I'm telling you, she's fat. That's why we didn't see her at the ceremony. She's fat. She can't be fat. She's the saviour. Does the saviour not eat? Good old Brontes is keeping her hidden so none of us will run off before the tournament began. I don't buy it for a second. She's fat. I'd put coin on it. Doesn't matter. Fat, skinny, I'd take her. She's the saviour. Imagine your cock in the most divine cunt in the world. The fucking must be incredible. Is that why you're here? For the fucking? Is this the only way you can manage to wet your cock? Oh, piss off. You know I pull more cunt than you do. Now, I clearly have no issue with being crass. I swear all the time, I'm very honest and open. So when I say this sounded wrong and shocking to me, it's not great. It's just, like, I use the word cunt all the time. I use cunt, but it just sounds fake, and it does not sound right. It doesn't flow. It just sounds like it was chucked in for shock value. It sounds like, oh, they're swearing. Oh, it doesn't flow with what they're saying. And all the characters use the same language. Like, surely not all the characters use the same language. Like, there's gotta be some random man who doesn't swear much. I'm just saying. Okay, this is a spoiler right now. Yeah, this is a spoiler. So skip to this time so you can avoid it. Though it's on page 65. So if you've reached page 65, then it's not really a spoiler. Milo's death. What was the point? I feel like it was just put in there for shock value, okay? It was brushed off so quickly. Like, it was as if it meant nothing. We didn't have enough time to care about Milo, or personally I didn't. I think I need more than 65 pages to care about a character, and it was killed off. And then it was just used as a pity thing for Tobias, because it was like, oh, Milo's dead. And then you forget about Milo dying for so many pages until later on he's like, oh, my best friend died. I'm like, yeah, you've forgotten about him for pages. And now you remember him and how good he was. You just bring him up for pity. Milo literally meant nothing in the scheme of things. And killing him off just, ugh. Okay. 20 pages later. So this is another spoiler for page 81, if you haven't read that far. Someone else dies. So Tobias learns a guy's name. And they're like, oh, this is a bit of camaraderie, right? Camaraderie. And then he dies. He just gets killed because Drake feels like killing someone. And then the Prince, Flynn, mouths off to him, which would be an instant death, right? That is an instant win. But he doesn't kill him. Drake doesn't kill him for no good reason. What is the point in killing someone for no reason and then not killing the next person? If you really cared about killing someone, you wouldn't have killed the first person. And if you didn't care about killing him, you would have killed Flynn. Like, it doesn't make sense. Also, the pacing at the start is just atrocious. Look, it's got here, god-awful torment of the day. It has not felt like a whole day. It has felt like 20 minutes. Maybe. Now, I wanted to talk about Tobias. He was such a boring ass bitch. He's so good and righteous, and Layla says that again and again. Oh, you're so good. Your name means good. That's so boring. And he has no reason to be good. It's not like, oh, he's good because these things, he's had a hard past and he wants to be good now. No, he's just good. There's nothing else about him, he's just good. That's so boring. Like, I don't get it. Like, his personality trait is that he's poor and he's good. Those are his personality traits. He is only interesting when he is with Layla. I stand by that. Otherwise, he's always scowling. She uses scowl a lot. Is scowl the new smirk? I don't know, but he is just... Ugh. Also, this is a spoiler for much later in the novel, like at least halfway through. He full on yells at Layla. So Flynn, I'll give you some backstory. Flynn walks in on Layla and Tobias together, and then Flynn threatens Tobias. Tobias is like, oh fuck. So he goes and yells at Layla. And Layla's like, no, this is fine. It doesn't matter. I have a plan, okay? It's okay. And Tobias just continues to yell at her. And then immediately after he's like, oh, fuck. And she's like, no, get out. And he's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it. And she's like, get out. I mean, good for her. And then he's such a self-pitying ass for the rest of the day. Like, the rest of the day he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I ruined everything. Yeah, you have. You shouldn't have yelled at her. That's on you for your own insecurities and not trusting her. And then later, this is still a spoiler, when he finds out she's the savior and he gets mad. He's like, you heard this from me. Like, of course you did, because you're freaking out now. And there were bigger things than you, Tobias. Her life is in danger. Her father wants to kill her. She can't be completely honest with you all the time. You have to trust her. When she says, I can't tell you this right now, it could get me killed. Okay. I just really don't like Tobias. It's also a thing of I need a character to be, like, if a character has the potential to become a villain, that makes him interesting. Tobias didn't. He was just good and righteous. Ugh. Okay. Some of the language. I don't think... Well, you can tell Jenna Moreci is a woman. Because some of the thoughts inside these men's heads does not make sense. Some of the men squirmed, fighting to subdue their arousal. The saviour hasn't entered the building yet. How are you aroused by her not even being there yet? I don't understand. Like, they haven't seen her and they're fighting arousal? That doesn't make sense. And even if that was what men truly thought, which I don't know men. Why would she as a woman write that? Isn't it a bit gross? Also, my camera's about to die, so we're gonna finish this and come back. I'm back. And now, I want to talk about when they're introduced to the saviour. Oh boy. First of all, stop talking about skin as milky and creamy. It's weird. No one thinks skin is milky. At least I don't. My siblings don't. My friends don't. So I'm not sure where you're going. Her skin was milk white and creamy. No one thinks that that's weird. Second of all, stop talking about her tits. Because I don't even care if that's what, like, that's obviously probably what goes through a man's head. I don't give a shit. It's weird. It's gross. Her two full breasts sat high, brimming over the neckline of her dress. Yeah? The woman had taken a seat alongside her court, and the men's gazes danced over her hair, her breasts, her lips, her breasts, her eyes, her breasts. It's gross! Shut up! How is this written by a woman? I don't even care if this is how men actually think. It's gross and it's weird and you shouldn't put it in your novel. I'm just saying that. It made me feel uncomfortable. Also, she uses the word silly quite a few times in dialogue with Layla and Tobias. You use cock and cunt constantly. Silly just sounds wrong. If Pippa were to say silly, it'd be fine, because that makes sense for her character. But for Layla and Tobias, who are constantly swearing, to say silly, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound natural. Another thing. Who says pillowy bottom lip? This is nitpicking at this point. and he bit down on her pillowy bottom lip. Who describes lips as pillowy? I don't. It just sounds weird. Just say he bit down on her lip, please. It's so much easier for you to do that. Tobias, okay? Never had any fighting experience before. First of all, how did he learn to swim? He's poor, and I don't remember them saying they live on the coast. Though her world building isn't strong. I'm gonna say it now. I don't understand what sort of place Thesson is. Just, they love the saviour, that's all I know. I don't understand anything else about the world. There's like little things about culture, but I don't know geographically what sort of place it is. I'm a bit confused. Anyway, Tobias learnt, so Layla taught him to fight in an afternoon. And suddenly, after that, he's a god at fighting. They know it takes so much longer than an afternoon to learn to fight. And he can't just be naturally good at everything. Like, and suddenly he's like the best of them at fighting. Like, no, he's fought once and he got away with it with a dex machina of magic and luck. So obviously she had deaths just for the sake of death, for shock value, which would have been fine if her point was that these things have death, war has death, sometimes there's death for no reason. But it wasn't. She was aiming for the deaths to mean things, but they really didn't. I just don't understand. Also, Layla's magic, what is it? I don't get it. She can just give her magic to people as well, and she can do whatever she wants, and magic just came in and rescued him at any given moment. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't understand. You need it. Even if it is a soft magic system, I don't understand. Ugh. Yeah, overall, I had a lot of issues with it, but once I overlooked all those issues, I was interested. Maybe I should have given it 2 out of 5 stars. Anyway, I've given it 3 out of 5 stars now, purely because I wanted to kind of read the sequel, because I'm kind of interested in where it's going. And it's a low bar, but compared to some of the other things I've given 2 out of 5 stars, it should get the 3. What have I given 2 out of 5 stars? The Trill, I gave 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't like that. I wasn't interested at all. Anyway, thank you for watching my review on The Saviour's Champion. I'll be coming out with another review next week. It'll probably be Song of Achilles. I'm not entirely sure though, and I'll have another video out by the end of the week. Probably a book tag. So thank you all for watching. I've got my socials in the comments for you to follow. And please subscribe and please like and subscribe. I will love you forever. Thank you. See you. Peace out.